your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. And actually today it's a special My Two Satoshis because I got my boy John App on the line with us today. I'm gonna first go over an article, and we will get into it with John App, one of the Webbot admins and a longtime friend of mine. He's like my brother. Honestly, I've known him since high school. And we go way back. So we're gonna start it off with just a little review of this article, and then you'll see why that relates to our conversation for today. This article comes from Bitcoin.com, and the title of this one is DogeCoin Developers Lament $1 Billion Market Cap Milestone. So article goes on to talk about Dogecoin. Many of you know about it, but some may not even know kind of the history behind Dogecoin. When I got into Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, if you want to say, Dogecoin had just came out, and it was a very special community that we built around Dogecoin. And so we'll get into that again once I get John App on the line here. But this article talks about Dogecoin and the developers, and it finally hitting $1 billion in market cap. So it says here, following last month's boom in price, Dogecoin now boasts a total market capitalization of over $1 billion. Curiously, the price milestone appears to have garnered criticism from the project's developers and creator, who have criticized the preponderance of speculative considerations within the cryptocurrency markets. And we'll talk about that with John App as well, about what we feel like the market is currently in regards to all the altcoins and the tokens as well. But it says here, Dogecoin now boasts a $1.16 billion market cap. Dogecoin market cap reached the historic 10-figure threshold following Dogecoin's 400% price gains that were witnessed during December of 2017. As of this writing, the price of Doge is testing resistance at the recently established all-time high of approximately 1 penny. And I remember, and we'll talk about this with John App, but we used to do calculations about Dogecoin reaching 1 penny and what that would mean for us. Because we had how many Dogecoins did we have back then? How many did you have? I don't even remember how many I had. It was tens of millions or billions. Was it billions?
Yeah, what's understood doesn't need to be said. So,
I'm gonna finish this article. Surprisingly, the $1 billion market cap valuation has garnered criticism from influential figures within the Dogecoin camp. Jackson Palmer, the founder of Dogecoin, who left the project in 2015, is reported to have exhorted the current environment of rampant speculation that surrounds most altcoins, stating, "I have a lot of faith in the Doge core development team to keep the software stable and secure, but I think it says a lot about the state of cryptocurrency space in general, that a currency with a dog on it, which hasn't released a software update in 2 years, has a $1 billion+ market cap." So, my man, John App, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Everything's groovy.
Yeah.
I like to send a special shout out to all the Webbot folks in the crypto room and the woo-woo room.
Yep.
And I'm gonna even shout out the precious metals room.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna shout out, the health room, and all clip followers, in their dwellings.
For sure, man. So I wanted to get you on because I actually had pinned this article when it came across my desk. I pinned it because I wanted to talk about it, and then you told me you actually were having a conversation with some Webbot members about Dogecoin. And a lot of people don't know really how pervasive Dogecoin is in the crypto markets. Let's talk about this whole, from the aspect of the word mooning, coins going to the moon, like that.
Exactly.
That all started with DogeCoin.
Correct. Let's take a step further back. So when we look at Bitcoin Core, that is the blockchain. That is the brand. Everything from outside of Bitcoin is an alteration to that protocol. Emphasis on altcoins. So when people say, hey, what about, Litecoin, or from a cryptocurrency perspective, well, how can I tell what's a shit coin and what's not a shit coin?
Right.
Because the original initiative when Dogecoin first came out it was a meme. It was designed behind a healthy community that practiced, tipping,
right,
sharing. We're going to go to the moon. We're going to take this crypto to another, atmosphere. We're literally leaving the Earth atmosphere and we're heading somewhere different. And it was to the moon.
It was to the moon, baby.
When you hear people using language, we're moaning. That's actually from the Dogecoin community.
That's right. We did, man. We came up. We coined that moon to the moon theme and or meme, and man, we had the dog on rockets.
It was wearing an astronaut suit.
Shiba was wearing an
astronaut suit. Yes.
Shiba was wearing an astronaut suit on the moon, bro. On the moon.
Correct.
So let's talk.
When you're mooning to this day, think of
Dogecoin. There you go.
Think of Dogecoin.
So let's talk about, remember back when. Okay, first, let's go even further back before Dogecoin. You came to my office. It was 2012.
Yeah. Yep.
Summer of 2012, or
summer. Not people. I want you to understand it was the summer.
Yeah.
And I go into his office, and it's extremely hot, like heat stroke hot. And I'm like, why is your computer exposed? Why does your CPU don't have a cover over it? And he says, that's a graphics card. I was like, what's going on here? And he's like, I'm mining Litecoin. And I was like, what's Litecoin? And he was like, remember I was telling you about Bitcoin? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, this is an alternative coin, slightly tweaked to the protocol. And at that time, I think it was proof of work, correct?
Litecoin is proof of work. Yes, it's proof of work, but it uses a different algorithm. It uses the Bitcoin uses the SHA-256 algo.
Yep.
And Litecoin, Dogecoin, they use the script algo.
Okay, so stop right there. Now, when you had made a statement earlier of people not understanding how that there hasn't been an update to the Dogecoin platform in over 2 years, how did it just cross 2 billion? I believe it's a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember, I think it was January 2014 where there was the first ever merge mining between Litecoin and Dogecoin.
That's right.
Because the hash rate was more profitable for Dogecoin and it kept flipping, and it caused miners for Litecoin to switch over to mine Doge.
Mm-hmm.
So they came to a consensus to merge mining.
Correct.
Where I think Dogecoin would have a header that would support Litecoin.
That's right.
And correct.
Yeah.
So,
no doubt.
I think at that time it was called the auxiliary to Litecoin. So when people think of the relationship between Litecoin and Dogecoin, you have to consider the early first version of the mine merging, or the merge mining.
Yeah, merge mining. Yeah, I was knee deep into mining at that point. So I remember you came to my office. I was mining. I had at that point I just built. That was my first computer I had ever built was for mining. I was in IT for years, but I just never had to actually build a computer from scratch. That was the first time I had to, put the CPU together, motherboard, all that good stuff. Litecoin was at what price at that point?
It was 54 cents.
54 cents. And
54 cents.
You were getting ready to go out of town. You were moving, right?
I was moving. Yep. I was moving at that time, and
you almost thought about
exactly.
Yeah.
I almost thought of. So I said, "Hey, does this thing hold any merit?" Because I just came back from out of town, but you're debating, kind of going back and forth about leaving friends and family, and I'm like, I can put this off. And we can get busy, and you're like, I'm mining it, we can get some more graphics cards, it's whatever, go ahead, pursue your dreams. And that was actually the best thing that you've done as a friend, because I've been in the banking industry for going on 8 years now.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best transitions I made, so kudos to Crypto Blood. I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah,
and it's not always about crypto, folks.
No,
sometimes
it's
the
not.
pursuit of happiness,
there you go.
Exactly, will take you to that destination, and it's still cryptos.
Yeah, and it's still cryptos.
And it's still cryptos.
It's still crypto. So moving fast forward a few years, I remember, and I know you probably remember, when DogeCoin, the founder, kind of got like stressed out or whatever, and he quit the community. But prior to that, the DogeCoin community, we garnered up support. And what I always loved about DogeCoin was the sense of a community. Like, it almost feels like how the Webbot chat room community feels. It feels like a family. And it was really like that with DogeCoin back in the day. And
it still is. It still is. Like, if I see anyone, or if I come into a conversation and Dogecoin is expressed, there's a sense of humility, humbleness. It's not about flipping 10x of Mooney. Where it all started, it's that community that we built, that synergy, and it's really family based. So that was the whole emphasis of the meme Shiba, was to show that it was a friendly currency. Remember, it was inexpensive, and it had the supply to remain that way, but it's quick. It's extremely quick. The utility around Dogecoin. If you haven't used Dogecoin, download a wallet and send a Dogecoin or a couple to Crypto Blood. Crypto Blood, post your Dogecoin wallet.
No doubt, will do.
Okay, so they can see the relationship of how quick and what Dogecoin has to offer.
Oh yeah, Dogecoin used to be. See, back then, ladies and gents, man. And me and John App were talking about this. On CoinDesk, there were 4 tabs.
Four tabs. Bitcoin news.
Yep.
Litecoin news.
Yep. And
what else?
And Dogecoin.
And then there was an altcoin tab.
Altcoin tab. Yeah.
There was no Ethereum.
No.
There was no Ethereum.
No.
Yeah.
No Ethereum. And Dogecoin, I think to this day, has an unlimited supply of 3 billion a year?
It was 5 billion a year, and that's due to an inflationary to kind of have some type of inflation for the currency.
Correct. So back then, there was a big debate in 2014 and in the community and stuff. We're talking about the same issue we have today with all these cryptocurrencies being there. Most of them are all deflationary, meaning they really aren't great for using as a means of currency, because they by nature inherently will continue to go up in price, which kind of prevents people from even wanting to spend their tokens and coins. So Dogecoin community actually made a change in the protocol. Remember, it wasn't always like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So emphasis, just to give an example, If you purchase a pack of socks, or if you bought a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoins, you're kind of regretting that. Whereas those mugs in 2013 and 2014, mugs, T-shirts, cards, etc., that the DogeCoin community began to sell. Well, DogeCoin right now is almost 2 cents, so you don't feel too as guilty. Like, oh, I spent 2 cents, 3 years ago.
Bro, at 2, oh my God, dude. I swear, I remember being on the phone with you doing calculation crunches about if Dogecoin went to a penny. I think I had like 6, I can't remember. I cannot remember. Was it, how many did you have? Because we were around the same amount. You had more though, because you like to go cowboy, so you went in on Doge.
I know exactly what I had, and since you disclosed what you had, I would say you had roughly around 15 to 20 million.
Okay, 15 to 20 million Doge coins.
Yeah.
Right, and you had more than that.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
So 15 to 20, if I would have just held on to that, I would be with that alone, I would be pretty good, right?
Yeah. And for everyone that's listening, we have wallet address, if anyone wanted to, do any back testing. And the blockchain doesn't lie.
The blockchain does not lie, for sure. I'm going to actually go find my old Doge wallet, and I'll put that out there for you guys to send me some Dogecoin if you want to, just for shits and giggles. So where do you think, man, this article talked about, like, where we are in the space as far as tokens, cryptocurrencies, altcoins. I think you and I share some of the same opinions, honestly, about where we are in the space as far as these currencies, these tokens, these projects, these companies being well overvalued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I agree I agree to a certain extent. So the first thing I would agree to is that for what each project from a token perspective, for the projects that have presented themselves in the crypto space, I feel that we're overvaluing them without a sense of data, without seeing the product itself, without there's few products that are actually live. CTR, Centra, great concept. That's actually live. That means you can actually use it.
No doubt. I use it every day. Yeah.
There's a few other tokens such as TFL, TrueFlip. It's an actual live product in which you can go to the application and participate. You can send, there we go. You can send different cryptocurrencies to your wallet address, and you can actually interact within the application. So we have yet to see that materialize, and I believe in 2018, we're going to see a lot more projects start to deliver and turn, and we're going to see a lot of go lives.
So yeah, I feel you on all of that. Like I definitely understand it. It's hard to really gauge whether or not we are in a bubble with these actual cryptos. However, this is why I feel we are in a bubble, and just to let everyone know and understand, a disclaimer here: just because we're in a bubble doesn't mean the bubble is going to pop anytime soon. The bubble, we've seen how.
Can I make
go
a case?
Yeah.
From the financial sector, some can say the bubble started from 1972.
Yes,
the gold standard.
Yeah, 71,
and it went all the way through 2007. So
yeah, absolutely.
When you talk about we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Now exactly what I was going to say is that a bubble can last way longer than your money can short it. So I'm not saying we won't be able to make money in this game for a few more years here. I believe so. I'm just saying that there's a misallocation or or I don't know if you want to call it misallocation of capital, but I guess you could. I think this is being misallocated right now. And the reason why, I'm going to pull up this article. This article is from, it's actually not an article, it's just a list of NASDAQ companies, right? And
Right.
if we look here, I'm just going to scroll down because, Apple's at the top. I did an article the other day talking about the total cryptocurrency market cap eclipsing Google's or Alphabet's total market cap of 769 billion. But I'm going to bring it down further to something that's we can compare apples to apples with. And I'll pick let me pick Fox Studio. I'm assuming that's Fox, like the network. Their A stock, A shares, I believe.
There we go.
Well, let me use someone else here. I'm gonna go lower. Someone everyone knows. Ooh, here we go. eBay. eBay's market cap is 41 billion, almost 42 billion, guys. All right. So I'm going to pull up CoinMarketCap, and I'm going to go look at something that's near.
Can I make a statement?
Go ahead.
Really quick.
Yeah.
So and this is just to show people the relevance, and I'm gonna tie this back to DogeCoin. He mentioned the market cap for eBay, I believe, was around $40-something billion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at I'm pretty sure if you pull their financial statement on the front page, it'll tell you the value of that share, and it should be 0.003. So if anyone out there is afraid to buy Bitcoin because of the price and it's too high and $16,000 for one Bitcoin, you remember the par value for every equity piece of share is roughly around 0.0003.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
talking about equity. So when people say bubble, especially when you turn on to certain television programs and you hear this aspect of bubble, remember that equity is the intrinsic value pumped into a particular share.
Right.
And what the future present value represents.
Future present value, right. So I think the future present value of a lot of these tokens is way overvalued right now. And again, it doesn't mean that we won't continue to do well. I think we will. If you take a look at Dunkin' Brands, which is Dunkin' Donuts, their parent company, and they're in the restaurant category or business or industry, I should say. Their market cap is 5.8 billion, almost 6 billion. And if I just pull up, I'm just going to pull up to compare here. Let's find something for 5 billion. We've got here. Okay, I'm just going to give you this example because a lot of people have been talking about Tron. Tron has come out of nowhere. Okay. Mm-hmm. Their market cap is 10 billion. They have they have a white paper.
Yep.
That is it.
Yep.
Nothing more.
Yep. So from my perspective and the way that I look at it is, and I'm going to go back to your Dunkin' Donuts. Well, remember, Dunkin' Donuts is really it's a restaurant, so it's from the food retail sector. And what people don't understand is we're talking about cryptocurrency just doesn't consist of currency; it also consists of application based that's on the blockchain as well. So what that means is you'll be able to carry a wallet in which you can pay for your Dunkin' Donuts at a point in time in the future where Dunkin' Donuts actually accepts it as a payment service. So we're talking about 3 industries just when purchasing a donut. Yeah. So I'm using a wallet, I'm using a cryptocurrency, and I'm purchasing, food or asset or whatever the case in point may be, all without leaving the realm of the cryptocurrency or the, crypto. Or the blockchain,
right?
However you want to look at it,
right? And that's true. That's definitely true. I just feel like, man, there's at least with Dunkin' Donuts having a $5 billion, $6 billion market cap. There is some actual, they employ people. There's a GDP footprint, if you will, that I can put my hands on to say, okay, they've got probably buildings that they that they own, or assets that they can. There's something tangible there. They have employees. That's where I'm like, whoa, I think we are in a bubble. What are your thoughts about that? What would be your rebuttal to that?
So, and you have to understand the way that I look at our economy is a little different. The way I look at our economy is when you mention like brick and mortar, I immediately look at debt, the expansion of debt. So we went back to 72, and that's when, if you think about it, when we go off the gold standard and we go into this debt-based system, this is where the first bubble goes. So when you look at department store cards, charge cards, people don't identify the actual amount of debt that was escalated in that short period of time. So that first 15 years, from 72 probably to 88, and we saw interest rates and hyperinflation take place. Mm-hmm. So if we're in a place of stagnation, well, this hyperinflation, we actually need this type of growth. We would need this hyperinflation to continue to grow within this current system, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have this newfound wealth spurring, and I agree with you. All these tokens, all these coins, some of them are overvalued to the sense that they haven't produced an actual product. And that goes back to your brick and mortar. The reason why you feel comfortable with Dunkin' Donuts, and the reason why certain people that are getting into the crypto atmosphere are like, well, I need something I can touch. Well, we're getting there. As we're seeing in 2018, I believe that people will start producing betas for their actual project. These white papers will start to materialize, and we'll start to see a lot of applications go live. Yeah, like I mentioned before.
Shout outs to my man Smokey from the Webbot Room. He actually sent me, and this all lines up with what I was talking about. This kind of builds on the whole theme of today's video. Basically, are we in a bubble with things like, you've got the founder of the DogeCoin. He's saying that, it shouldn't have $1 billion market cap. I think it's a symptom of we're all kind of right in our own ways. Like, I think John App is right in saying that we've got excess. This is a sign of hyperinflation, overprinting of the fiat currencies, and it's all being manifested in the cryptocurrency environment and community. And that's kind of where that probably starts. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I don't disagree. Mm-hmm. But as we get more evidence, it will detail. So I think it's something that we back test, a year from now and kind of go through, because remember, this is a new industry. This is a new market in itself. So when we're seeing this market type behavior, like, what people don't understand is it's January the 8th, if 2018. So if you go back to 2017, I believe the market cap was around 14 billion. So to fathom that we've injected, I think the high or the peak of this week was 850 billion. We've injected $835 billion into an industry that was maxed or peaked at 15 billion over the past 7 years. The inflation that you're talking about of this coin, this token, that token, that's what happened. And really, my question is, I'm wondering, you talk about future present value and the value being placed on these tokens.
Is it a little bit, how can I put it? Are we a little bit too optimistic about the actual value?
Yes,
we are. Okay,
Yes, we are. And the reason I'll tell you is because history, humans, we have the same characteristic. We have the same character values: greed, love, humanity, hate, anger. It's consistent, so we can see it just
Animal
throughout
spirits.
history. So, exactly, we can see it throughout history. So, we've seen this before with the .com bubble.
Yeah.
Now, the internet came. Internet's been over the idea of transferring information back and forth, but when it became mainstream, like in 95, 96, you had this rush, this .com rush that it went out from, I'll say 96 to about 2000, 99. So it was 3 years. Mm-hmm. And look how, just from the internet integrating into our humanity, into our society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can ask Jeeves right now why he's not the number one search engine.
Ask Jeeves why he's not the number one search engine. So that's what's going to happen in this space as well. The ones that we think are the bellwethers, if you want to call them, the titans of the crypto space, probably won't be around in 5-10 years.
But they paved the way.
They paved the way. Right.
And we pay homage, like Web TV. Remember Web TV, everyone?
Web TV. Wow.
Yeah. Where you can cast or you can be on the internet on your television. Yeah, we do that now. Yeah, we do that now.
Yeah, no doubt.
MP3 players, right?
Yeah.
MP3 players.
Yeah, I had the first. The first one, the Rio. Mm-hmm. Rio MP3 player had. I could only hold about 8 songs on there, and it was powered off a AA battery. Amazing. But so I mean, but that kind of helps people put things in. I hope it helps people put things in perspective. I think we will 2018 into 19 will definitely. I know Cliff High in his reports always talks about a lot of these tokens will not be around because what will happen is they'll start to test because they're getting crazy valuations right now. They'll start to test their basically proof of concept and then see that they're not profitable or XYZ occurs and they run into roadblocks as you do when you're starting a business. And a lot will fall by the wayside.
I think we're a ways from that, though.
Okay.
Like I said, I believe 2018 we'll start to see a lot of projects start to implement their beta and start to get some of these applications out. As far as to monetization of these projects, I think that's the 2020 factor when you can actually see how someone is capable or how relatively profitable monetizing tokens for each white paper use case or whatever the case may be.
Right.
That will have a lag effect.
Okay, so you're saying 2020 you think is when kind of the curtain will be lifted on a lot of these projects. Okay, I think a little earlier, maybe 2019, but that's one year off, whatever, give or take.
You got to think you don't if you had this much energy and you have so much movement in 2017 with the ICO, and then you actually go live in 2018, and then you might have some bugs, and you spend like half of 2018, early 2019 to fix it. You're gonna keep pushing. You're just not gonna say, "Oh, throw in the white flag."
Yeah, that's true.
And you have billions of dollars and people and supporters and community.
That's true.
You're gonna try to fight, and implement, because remember, if people actually go through their white papers for the projects that they're participating in, there's different phases. So phase 1 might be minute, but what we actually have for phase 2 and 3 could have been, our meat and potatoes.
Facts. Definitely. Well, man, thanks for joining me on the show today. I appreciate the chat, talking about this DogeCoin, going back a little bit, reminiscing about the early days of cryptos, getting into the space. And much success to you in 2018. I'll holler at you in the web-out room, bro.
All right,
people. I'm out. It's your boy Crypto Blood. I'm out. Holla.
Niggas yummy, the your man. What's your plan? Is it to rock the tri-state?